Prioritizing care as a nurse can be a little confusing when you first start off. And so I made this helpful little PDF question guide to go over some things to consider when you are prioritizing things for patients. And I'm going to go through it and hopefully it's helpful. This is from my new nurse crash course, by the way. So if you like this type of content, I've got tons more where this came from. All right, first thing to consider is if I do not do this immediately, will this affect the patient? So for example, let's say you have a patient that has a low blood sugar and you have a patient that just voided in the bed and needs cleaned up. If you have a patient with a low blood sugar, that is going to be your priority, because if you don't attend to that immediately, that could cause the patient harm, whereas sitting in a soiled bed for an extra couple minutes is going to be okay. Now, I'm not saying that that shouldn't be taken care of promptly, but the blood sugar would definitely come first. The next thing to consider is, can I delegate this task? So I have a good rule of thumb for myself is if I have the time to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to delegate it. But if I am busy with X, Y, and Z, I'm going to delegate the task that can potentially be done by somebody else. So maybe I'm hanging blood on a patient and another one of my patients needs to get up to the bathroom. A CNA or tech can help a patient up to the bathroom, whereas they can't hang blood. So can you delegate it? That kind of helps you with prioritizing. Next is, are there any smaller tasks that you can complete quickly or concurrently with another big task? So let's say you're hanging that unit of blood on your patient, but you need to do your morning med pass and they need their central line dressing changed. While you're hanging that blood and kind of observing that patient for the first 15 minutes, maybe you're also doing their med pass and doing that central line dressing. Next is, which actions will have an impact on the patient's health condition? For example, let's say your patient has an elevated lactic acid and a provider just ordered a bunch of fluids for them, and you have a patient that also has discharge orders that's ready to go. You're going to hang those fluids on the patient with the high lactic acid first, because that could cause some impact on the patient's health condition if it's not done promptly, whereas delaying a discharge by 10-15 minutes is not going to cause the patient harm. Next is, what can I do alone and what requires assistance? Some tasks require 2, 3, 4 additional people, and so you're going to think about those things when you're prioritizing, like what can I get done by myself and what do I need people to help me with? And if it's something that immediately needs help for other people, then you're going to round up your troops, but otherwise, let's get the things done that I can get done. And last is, will this harm the patient if not completed immediately? It kind of ties into everything else. Always consider, if this doesn't get done right now, how is this going to impact my patient? And a lot of times that can kind of help you figure out what should come first. However, I get it. A lot of you take care of 4, 5, 6 patients, and sometimes you've got multiple immediate things that need addressed. So easier said than done, but hopefully this is a helpful starting place for you. And let me know if you have any further questions, and I'm happy to elaborate.